Have you guys heard the new MLS anthem? How hype is that? I don't know about an anthem, but that is pump up movie trailer level. It's gonna be crazy this season. The players are gonna come walking out in the stadium, they're gonna start playing that. You know, the orchestra's gonna just start going insane. It's gonna be like, let's freaking go! I'm hyped. Are you guys hyped? This weekend, the MLS season starts. The 25th MLS season and Toronto FC's 14th. Starting things off in San Jose against the Earthquake. Should be a fantastic opening weekend and the start of what is possibly one of the more highly anticipated Toronto FC campaigns. I'm going to do a quick little preview of how I think this coming season is going to go. I already did a lineup predictions video, so I'm not going to go too in-depth in the personnel. I did it all then about 2 weeks ago, and the only things that have really changed in this roster since then are we signed Achara, whose first name I am never going to try and pronounce on this channel. He seems like a pretty solid second striker behind Jozy Altidore. Pretty excited to see what he can do if he can come straight out of the super draft, straight out of college, and make an impact in MLS, be a solid substitute, and be the second striker we desperately need. Then TFC is in a much better spot. And the second thing that's happened since then is Pablo Piatti got hurt and will miss the beginning of the season. When we brought in a injury-prone 30-year-old designated player, everyone was like, well, he's going to get hurt pretty soon, and I was going to call him getting hurt within the first month of the season. I didn't think it was going to happen before the first game, though. That's actually impressive. But Piatti's going to be at the start of the season. He's for sure missing the opener. I'm not sure exactly when he's coming back, but Toronto FC starting the season without their new designated player, which is a bad sign of things to come, especially given that he is an injury-prone player. But looking ahead to this season, this team wanted to keep the core group of players about the same this year. They wanted to keep basically the group that got them to the MLS Cup final last season the same. And with the exception of a couple depth players heading out, the core starters are all still here. And even Michael Bradley, who designated player deal ended, took a target allocation money deal. So Toronto FC keeps Michael Bradley and adds another designated player in Piatti. So that core group from last season is all still here. That being said, there were some issues last season with injuries, and basically this entire team's season depends on their ability to stay healthy. If this team can stay healthy, they are far and away one of the better teams in MLS. If injuries start bothering them and they start getting hurt a lot, the playoffs should be easy enough to make, but the question of how many home games, if any, we'll have gets put into doubt if injuries start to slow us down. Looking at the Eastern Conference this season, I think there's a clear top three teams in Toronto FC, New York City FC, and Atlanta United. I can very easily see Toronto FC coming in third place in the conference. A fantastic run, Jozy Altidore staying healthy and not very many injuries. Easily, I could see us coming second. It'll take a lot of work and a lot of very good injury luck for this team to end up in first place in the Eastern Conference, but if that happens, they could very easily win the Supporters' Shield. I think that is well within the possibility of things that could happen for this team this year. But right now, I feel pretty confident that they're going to finish somewhere within the top three of the Eastern Conference. I'm pretty confident to say that the top three in the East right now is going to be NYCFC, Atlanta, and Toronto. I'm just not 100% sure what the ordering there is going to be. But top three in the East seems to be where this team should finish at the end of this campaign. The thing that I really want to look at right now is what individual players I think are going to be the most important for this team. So to start out with, who's my preseason prediction to be team MVP? This one depends entirely on injuries. If Jozy Altidore stays healthy the entire season, which has been a major problem for him throughout his time at Toronto FC, he is easily the MVP of the season. With Piatti and Pozuelo giving him service, if Altidore stays healthy throughout the whole year, he'll easily set his career goal high in MLS, and he could potentially even challenge for a golden boot. I feel like an Altidore with a regular level of injuries for him is going to end up with somewhere between 15 and 20 goals this season. If he can stay healthy for the whole year, 25 plus, easily attainable. So if he stays healthy, 100% he's the MVP. If Altidore gets hurt, however, the MVP is going to have to be Alejandro Pozuelo. Of the three designated players, Pozuelo is the only one that does not have an injury history, and last season he was a key part to the MLS Cup final run. That game against New York City FC, he basically just took control. If Altidore and Piatti are both regularly hurt this season, Pozuelo is going to have to take control of this offense. He's going to have to be our main source of goals. So if Altidore doesn't stay healthy, Pozuelo is going to be this year's MVP. Now in terms of non-designated player MVPs, This one, again, is a bit depending on some factors. If Jonathan Osorio regains his 2018 MLS form where he scored 10 goals that season, he is 100% our non-designated player MVP, especially if he plays at that level, given the talent that Toronto FC would have around him now in Pozuelo and Piatti. He also has potential to set a new career high in goals this season if he plays his best soccer. I feel like a Jonathan Osorio playing at the level that we saw him in the 2018 Champions League run could probably score 15 goals in MLS, which for a non-designated player is elite. If Osorio can't recover that form, though, the non-DP MVP has to be Quentin Westberg. Last season, Quentin Westberg was absolutely magnificent. He kept Toronto FC in so many close games earlier in the season. He basically shut Atlanta United down to get us into MLS Cup. Westberg was just making crazy saves all season, stopping balls he had no business stopping, and really made up for a lot of the shortcomings that the defense had last season, especially when injuries were tearing through their lineup prior to getting Omar Gonzalez. So Quentin Westberg is going to be an incredibly important part of this season for TFC. Two more categories I want to look at. One is breakout player. This season, for Toronto FC, the guy who's going to have a breakout season and really establish himself in MLS, it has to be Liam Fraser. Fraser last season was starting to get more and more playtime, especially during the Gold Cup when Michael Bradley was away with the United States national team. And now this season, with Michael Bradley out until June, Liam Fraser has 3 months now where he is this team's #1 defensive midfielder. And I think Liam Fraser proved last season when he was on the field that he is very ready to handle the major minutes in MLS. And even with the Canadian national team, he's gotten some big minutes coming on in October for most of the game against the United States in that big 2-0 win at BMO Field for Canada. So I think Liam Fraser is ready, and I think Liam Fraser is going to be absolutely fantastic this season. I've said it a million times, I am so excited to see Liam Fraser playing in a starting role this season. It's unfortunate that we had to lose Michael Bradley for a couple months to get Liam Fraser into this role, but I feel like Fraser will impress and really prove that TFC is ready for a post-Michael Bradley world. And the last topic I want to look at is my choice rookie for this season. Toronto FC this season has a lot of very exciting young prospects that they've brought up from the academy or gotten through the draft for the past couple of years, and a lot of them are just kicking at the feet, ready to get into a MLS lineup. Guys like Julian Dunn, Rocco Romeo, Noble Okello, Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy, Griffin Dorsey, and Jaden Nelson. All very exciting young players who all have the potential to get some minutes with the big club this season. I'm not counting Achar with this group because the rest of these players are 20 or under, and Achar is 22, so he's a bit older. So while he is technically a rookie, these players have more future ahead of them and a lot more room to develop, so I'm going to be focusing on them. Of those 6, the guy who I'm the most excited for is Jaden Nelson. Nelson is 17 years old, still not an adult, but he has so much potential moving forward in his career. He's surpassed Ayo Akinola as the best striker on TFC2 in my opinion. He's already played and already scored a goal for the Canadian national team, which at his age is exceptional, even if it was just a friendly against Barbados. Just to get put on the roster, especially considering all the professional players who are playing in the CPL who could have been on that roster but weren't, it's huge for Jaden Nelson. With the emergence of Achara, he's fallen to be the #3 striker on this team, in my opinion. I feel like he'll probably split time between TFC and TFC2, probably being sent to TFC2 on little loan spells just to keep him match fit, keep him playing in competitive games, but I can see him getting quite a few minutes up at the big club, especially early on in the season. He'll hopefully be able to pot a couple of goals for TFC this year. I can see Jaden Nelson being a late sub a couple of times, possibly getting some more extended showings depending on the position of games as the season goes on. And I think he could very potentially score 3 or 4 goals in MLS this season, which for a 17-year-old would be absolutely incredible. So Jaden Nelson is the young guy who I am really looking forward to seeing. And I feel like he has potential to be probably, I think, the first real good striker the TFC Academy has ever produced. Wow, our academy's not been very good. But yeah, that's my preview for this season. Tell me who you think the most important players for TFC this year are going to be down below in the comments. Tell me how well you think Toronto FC is going to do this year, where they're going to end up in the Eastern Conference standings. If you guys want me to do game reviews, comment down below about it, because right now I'm kind of sitting on the fence. So if you want to see reviews after, maybe not every game, but most games, let me know down in the comments. If enough of you want it, I'll do it. And yeah, if you like this video, hit like. If you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, link is down below in the description, and I will see you next time.